Hey, hi, good evening, everyone. Good evening, friends. Right. Welcome back to our 20 days program on Power BI. So, successfully, we have completed 6 sessions, right? So, 6 days we have completed. Good. We'll quickly, walk through what we have understood in the previous session or in the previous, all 6 days. Then we'll start a new topic today, right? So, we started with an business intelligence tool called Power BI. Okay, so we started with learning what is Power BI, then how or what is the approach that we are going to follow in order to understand the concepts of Power BI. Okay, we understood all the components. In total, it has 6 components: Power Query Editor, then Power Pivot, Power View, Power Map, Power BI Q&A, and Power BI Service. Then we started with the first component, Power Query Editor. The first component of Power BI, it's Power Query Editor. What is the use of Power Query Editor? Power Query Editor is used for data cleaning and transformation activities. Okay, so we'll prepare our data for the next steps. Okay, using this particular component of Power BI. Then in this particular component we have understood all the tabs. I mean, tabs represents home tab. Excuse me, not keeping well English. Home tab, transform tab, add column, and finally view tab. So the different groups and the different type of buttons that we have in each and every tab, home tab, transform, add column, and view, we have understood, I should say majority of them, majority of the options, majority of the buttons that are available under these 4 tabs we have understood. And you know we also discussed the concepts of append and merge. Okay, so these two concepts we have related to SQL, that is joins and union, or and union all. Okay, so these two joins are also explained in one of the session in order to understand these two append and merge buttons, append and merge options, right? So we have worked on multiple data sets, and we have successfully completed Power Query Editor, and I have requested the same. I have requested you guys to do the same, to take any of the data set and perform basic or whatever options that we have learned. The preliminary cleaning part, the transformations, you are supposed to work on the data. Post completing Power Query Editor, in the last session, we discussed Power Pivot. Power Pivot. So Power Pivot, it's a component in Power BI. What is the use of Power Pivot, friends? For what purpose we generally use Power Pivot? Don't sit idle. Be active, and I need your responses. Use chat. It's not exactly the data analysis, data modeling. Good. We build up models. Using the data, we build up models. So for data modeling activities, you know we generally use power pivot. And what is the reason for building this model? Why should we build, or why should we do this modeling on any given data? Or what exactly the benefit of using this component power pivot? We have understood that particular point as well. What is it? It establishes the relation between the data. Okay, so relationships, fine. But what is the important top point that we are missing out? To do future prediction? Are we doing any kind of prediction, friend? No, right? Hmm. Relationships good, but what is the main point that we are missing out? What happens when the data, the raw data, normalizing? Hmm. Good, friends. We have discussed the topic of denormalized data getting converted to normalized fashion. Yes. So denormalized, nothing but non-normal. It means the data which is present in the denormalized fashion means it has lot of redundancy. Means the redundant meaning, some particular values they keep on repeating in this denormalized data. I mean, in this denormalized data fashion. Okay, so if you have data in this particular format, denormalized fashion, it occupies more space, more memory gets consumed. Yes, more memory gets consumed, and moreover, it also creates some kind of anomalies. What are the anomalies that we result, or that this particular data result is? It's DML commands that we have, data manipulation language. So there is a topic in SQL called as DML, data manipulation language, and under this we have update, insert, and delete. Okay, so if the data is present in denormalized fashion, it results us in some issues, some errors. Those errors are nothing but update anomaly, insert anomaly, delete anomaly. Okay, so that is the reason we are converting the data from denormalized fashion to normalized fashion. So if we try to convert this data to denormalized to normalized, what happens, Akhil? Simple. First of all, the redundancy gets reduced. I'm not telling, it will be completely avoided, but it gets reduced. The same example that we have discussed within an organization, if there are employees, they work under a particular department. Okay, so what is the column that is getting repeated after converting to normalized fashion? Only department sales. Okay, apart from sales, is there any other column getting repeated? No. So in the denormalized data, department manager, then department ID. So all of these three records are repeated. I mean, these three column values are repeated. But what happened? Only one such column was getting repeated. So what happened is the redundancy got reduced. We should not say that redundancy or the repetition became zero. Impossible. We cannot make it to zero, but still there is a chance of reducing it. How? Using data modeling concept. So we convert this denormalized data into normalized data. Post converting the data into normalized fashion, you know, Power BI being intelligent. It uses this power pivot component and it establishes the connections between fact table and dimension tables. Between fact table and dimension tables. Clear? Yes. Obviously, this is what we have discussed in our last class. Then we also took the example of uh, sales in a particular organization. We took all the sales and we have figured what are the fact tables and dimension table. Okay, then using power pivot in the model view, this is called as model view. Okay, in the model view we have also established the relation between different dimension tables and the fact table. Done, right? So when we are establishing the relation between fact table and dimension table, we can also get what kind of relation can we have between these tables. Either it is one to one, or one to many, or many to one. So this is nothing but vice versa. And finally, many to many. So depending on the values that you have between these two tables, this relation will be identified. Okay, so post identifying the relation, what did we do? We have also understood how the values are interacting in the report view. In the report view, we have created two visuals, one from dimension table, taking the data of one dimension table, we have created the first tile, and using fact table, we have created the second tile, and we understood how they are interacting. So when you are trying to filter the data, they get interacted. Okay, so we have understood the same that concept as well in the last session, and I assume at least you have tried the same concept on one data set, right? Yeah. So all these topics were being covered so far. So no questions. Everything went well. Now today, we are going to start a new topic. Today we are going to start a new topic called as DAX. It's called as DAX. Friends, Power BI, the entire topic of Power BI has less theory. Okay, it's more on hands-on. So whatever the topic that we understand, that we are going to learn, I talk very less about the introduction part, but we'll understand more with respect to hands-on. Okay, so hands-on in the sense. So, anyways, Akhil is going to do it in the session. Just listen to it. If we watch that particular session or the video, are we going to get? No. Okay, we'll not get. We'll try. We'll understand the concept. Immediately you have to work on any of the data set. Okay, if you work on any of the data set, your skill on Power BI, it's get sharpened. Okay, so day by day it gets increased. So even DAX is a concept which is based on functions. So functions again, Akhil, are you going to take are you going to teach any programming languages? Because generally we learn functions in languages like Python, okay, Java, whatever it might be, right? So are you going to teach any programming language? No, no, friends. In Power BI, there is a topic called DAX, and DAX stands for Data Analysis Expressions. DAX stands for Data Analysis Expressions. So we'll come up with an expression using a function. Okay, so first we'll understand the requirement. Every time, a requirement is something we have to understand. What is your requirement? If you understand the requirement, accordingly you'll select the function. Based on the function, we'll come up with the expression. Okay, so probably in the coming classes also we'll try to understand only DAX, because DAX is an ocean. To be honest, in Microsoft Power BI there are 600 to 700 functions. Oh my god, there are 600 to 700 functions. Only functions, I'm talking about only functions. So uh, Akhil, are you going to teach all the 600 to 700 functions? No, impossible. If I start teaching all these functions, it takes at least a month, right? So what are we going to learn with respect to DAX is the top functions that we use for in majority of the times we'll try to use some functions repeatedly. Okay, so probably 30 to 50 functions we are going to learn, the widely used functions which covers all the topics. I mean, if you take aggregation functions or logical functions, date related functions. So we are going to understand, we are going to touch all different types of functions, but only the important will be understood as per these sessions. Okay, so pay attention, and it's better if you make a note of those syntaxes and all. Even though if you don't make a note of those syntaxes, Microsoft, it provides you the official documentation. It provides you the documentation of these functions that we're going to learn in their official site. So if you visit a Microsoft site and if you navigate to Power BI, okay, so under Power BI there will be a separate, some specific pages have been created only for DAX documentation, the functions. Okay, so whenever you're free, probably whenever you're free, just go through this documentation. Okay, so that your what understanding will be clear with respect to any function that you're going to learn upfront. Okay, right. So DAX, it stands for data analysis expressions. So we are going to create some expressions depending on the depending upon our requirement. Okay, we'll create some expressions, and these expressions contains functions. Only functions? No, it contains operators. Actually, what do you mean by operator? Operators are nothing but the symbols that we use. Symbols, yes. For addition we use plus. For addition we use plus. For subtraction we use kind of hyphen, minus. Okay, this symbol is named as minus. Then multiplication, asterisk mark. Division, slash, backward slash. So these symbols are named as operators. Okay, then functions, operators, and we also use variables, because ultimately using in an expression we'll have the mixture of all these three. Function will be used, operators will be used, variables will be used. Okay, so as I have told upfront, we are going to learn completely, it's a different topic. Okay, so even in interviews you can expect questions from DAX. Okay, so if you are experienced, yep, for sure you can expect. For fresher, the basic kind of questions can be expected in Power BI related topics. Okay, right. So Akhil, what is the use of DAX? You are telling that if we have any requirement, we'll come up with some expressions, and these expressions they'll include functions, operators, and variables. Fine, but at the end of the day, what is your final product? What you're going to create using DAX? excuse me. What are we going to create using DAX is the question. Using DAX, we generally create two main things. Two things can be created using DAX, friends. One is, you know, measures. The first one is measures, and the second one is columns. Okay, measures, columns. What are these measures? What are these columns? So measures are also called as calculated measures. These are also called as calculated measures. Then columns, same, calculated columns. But still, I don't understand. What is this measure? What is this column? For clear understanding, let me take a data set and I'll explain you what is a measure and what is a column. Okay, so what is a calculated measure and what is a calculated column that we are going to obtain using DAX. Let us take a data set and we'll understand it. Okay, right. So friends, I have the data of a superstore. This data was taken from United States of America, USA. Okay, there is a superstore kind of store where we get the products. Okay, so they have recorded their data from 2021. Okay, so this entire data talks about the orders that they have, the transactions between the customers, okay, and between them, all the orders from 2021 till 2024 they have recorded, and this is open source. You guys also can get it from the sites, right? So here are some list of the columns. You see probably, yes. I need not talk about these order ID. Okay, that specific order will have some ID, right? Order ID, order date, on which date did the customer order, ship date, on which date did the our store ship this particular order, ship mode, how did their which mode was being selected for shipment, customer ID, okay, customer name, then the segment to which this particular order has been placed, and what is the country and region. Okay, so like all basic stuff we have, and you see there are some columns regarding products. What product did the customer purchase? Okay, so is it a Xerox machine, or there are some other products that you observe. Okay, bookcase. Okay, then under which subcategory does this product fall under, and what is the category does this product fall under? Okay, so all such kind of information we have. Additionally, if you observe the last few columns, yep, we have information regarding sales, we have information regarding quantity, okay, uh, then we have information regarding discount, how much discount did we actually provide to the customer, and the profit that we have achieved on this specific order. Okay, so profit, it's talking about each and every order, friends, individual order. Akhil, before you continue, one quick question. Yep, tell me. Akhil, profit is a number, right? Yes. Can it be negative? No. Then why did we have a minus sign in front of the first record profit? The first order profit, it's negative, and you just told me that it's not possible to have a negative profit, right? Yes. The reason is, it means we have, we did not got profit, we got loss, and the loss is recorded. Minus $240 loss is what we have got for first order. I mean the order one. Okay, so don't assume it's not this data is something it's not making any sense. It is. It is making sense, but one thing that we have to understand is negative sign which we have in this profit column represents loss. Okay, from that particular transaction, from that particular order, we achieved loss, right? So now let us talk about what is this calculated column, calculated measure. What is this calculated column and calculated measure? Okay, the first question before we talk about you know the concept of calculated, or let me give it as column and measure. Right. If I ask you to calculate what is the overall profit for all these transactions, for all the orders, okay, what is the profit that we got so far for our superstore? What we do, friends, what we do? If I ask you to calculate the overall profit, just think and tell me what we do. I hope you got my point. Simple. If I ask you to calculate overall profit, I'll sum up these values. When I sum up these values, if it is a positive number, that means we have achieved profit. If it is a negative number, we did not achieve profit, we have achieved loss. That's what we can understand, right? So, what are we doing? We are adding all the numbers. Okay, all the numbers present in this profit column are getting added. They're getting added up, and one particular, one such value is getting returned. What did we do? We aggregated all the values. Okay, when we aggregated all the values and it has resulted as a single value, right? So what is the profit that we got? 292,296 is the profit that we have got from 2021 till 2024. Okay, yes. So this particular value 292,296, this is the sum of profit. Am I right? So one such value will be resulted by taking how many transactions are we going did we take? N number of transactions we took. N represents many, all the transactions that we have. So when you are taking N number of records, okay, for your to satisfy a requirement, and it is resulting in only one value, one specific value, it will be a measure. It will be a calculated measure, and this calculated measure will not store in this data model. I mean, it will not store in this data. It will not get stored in this data. Okay, then how to get the information? That what is the value that we have inside the measure is only via visuals. Only using visuals, we can get the value that is present inside a measure. Okay, understood, Akhil. Now the question is, Akhil, you are taking Excel and you are doing right. How are we going to do the same thing in Power BI? We'll use DAX. We'll use DAX and we'll get this number. Make sure I do it in the class itself. We'll get this number. Okay. Then the second one is calculated column. Okay. If it is, what is a column first of all? Column are nothing but the vertical one that we have in the table. Sales column, quantity column, discount column, profit column. In the same way, calculated column also represents, it's a column. It's a column that gets calculated using the DAX expression, and it gets stored in the data model. It will be part of the data. Any one of the example that can be you here is, yes, you know if I want to know that am I achieving profit or loss for each and every transaction, am I getting profit or not? If I want to know, what can I do? The only reason is I don't have people in front of me, right? So that is the reason I'm talking to myself. I generally I'm a guy with interact. I'll interact with the students, but anyhow, I cannot expect you guys to talk for every time, right? So that is the reason I'm talking to myself. So don't get deviated. Focus on what we are talking. Focus on what we are understanding. Okay, friends. So the question is, how can I know, you know, whether I'm achieving profit or loss for each and every order? Tell me what kind of logic can we use? Think and tell me. I hope you got my question. Hmm. The question is, see, here, let me take the first 10 transactions only. Okay, I'm taking only the first 10 transactions. CP cost. See, is there any cost, price, and selling price over here? No, right? There is no cost price, selling price. We have only one column, that is profit. Using this column, I have to come up with one more column identifying whether that particular order resulted as a profit or loss is what I have to come up with. Okay. So for that, I'm asking you to give the logic. I got the answer. Just it's simply, if it is negative number, it means a loss. For that particular order, I have received loss. And if it is a positive number, it means a profit. That's it, right? Why are we complicating ourselves? I hope you got the point. So, how can I write using Excel is, there is a function called, logical function called if. Anyways, we are not here to learn Excel, but still, as an experiment, just to get the output, I'm trying this. If the value, okay, if it is greater than 0, then if this condition, logical test, if it is true, result as in profit. If not, what if the condition is false? If it is, mark it as loss. Done, and I'll close it. Close the function. Okay. So for all the 10 transactions that I have, I'll repeat the same. Yes. The same logic I'm going to apply. So this is quite good enough. Yep. Negative number, loss. Positive number, profit. Good. Done. It's done in the right way. So now the question is, now let us understand why it is a calculated column. Calculated column takes n number of rows. It's taking 10 rows, and how many values it is giving as output? 10. But with respect to measure, do you get again? If you take n records, will you get n values back as output? No. You will expect only, you can get only one value. One single value will be returned, and that will be a calculated measure. That makes the difference between calculated column and calculated measure. Okay, so using DAX, data analysis expressions, okay, we'll get these output. Okay, not required because we are not here to what learn Excel. We'll do the same thing in Power BI. No worries. Now, why am I using Excel is to explain what is column, what is measure, calculated column, calculated measure. Calculated measure will result us only in a single value by taking n number of rows. But if you take calculated column, n rows will result as n values. For each and every value, we'll get output. So that becomes a column, calculated column. Calculated column will store inside a table. It occupies space inside a table. Whatever, if I want to know the value that is present inside a measure, every time I have to go and use any one of the visual chart. Any one of the visualization should be used in order to get the information about the measure. So these are the major differences between calculated column and calculated measure. If you have understood the concept, I do the same things using Power BI. Okay, so we have DAX concept, right? So using, got it? I'll go back to Power BI desktop without wasting our time. Let us quickly load our data. The same process, friends. Under the home tab, okay, I'm clicking on Excel workbook because I have the data in Excel workbook. So, I'm using the same data superstore, okay, and I click on open. So it takes time. Right. So there are two sheets. One is orders. Let me, load only the orders table. This is enough for us for time being. For the time, let us go with orders table. That's more than enough. Excuse me. Right. So you see under the data pane, we have the list of, what are these? These are nothing but the list of fields. So columns are named as fields in Power BI. So these are the list of columns, fields under the orders query, under the orders table. Okay. So the same columns, yes, the same fields. What is, summation mark in understands? What can we interpret from this summation symbol? This was already discussed in our last class. Summation represents, that this particular column discount has numeric values. Okay, then calendar, yes, good. Calendar represents date related column. It's a date, I mean the values that are present in this order date, you know they are of date related values. Okay, anything else? Nothing. So yep. So what I can understand is all these columns that we have. Okay, so two of them got come. Let me do one thing. So as we have used that Excel sheet so far, the 22 and 23 came. I am removing this from the model, not required. Just give me a quick minute. I'll delete from the model. Done. Excuse me. Okay. So friends, you observe all the columns that we have are arranged in alphabetical order. Done. Now, what is the first thing that we have to do? Akhil, whatever we have done, in Excel, we'll do the same things in Power BI as well. Okay, right. So for that, what is the first question that we have answered? The overall profit. How can we get the overall profit from the orders table? For that, first of all, you have to understand, are we going to create a measure or column? So overall profit will result as in measure. It will not be a column. When you aggregate all these values present in profit, it returns us only a single value. So obviously it will be a measure. So how can we create measures in Power BI? What is the process? We have different ways, but at the end of the day, again we have to use DAX query only. Okay, so we'll understand what are the different ways that we have. Okay, so first thing is, under the home tab, you see calculations group. Yes, there you will see new measure. So using, see, I just hovered my mouse on this particular new measure option. It's giving me a pop-up. Write a DAX expression that calculates a value from your data. Okay. So in order to get overall profit, I can just click on this. So I'll get the formula bar open and I can write the DAX expression. That is one way of creating measure. If not, just click on the table name, the query name. If you click on the query name, okay, that is orders. See, I just clicked on it. A contextual tab opens. There is no table tools tab so far. But the moment that you have selected table, okay, a contextual tab has opened and it is displaying the options, the list of groups that are available under table tools contextual tab. So again, you see, I can create a measure by selecting this icon and I can create a column by selecting the next icon. Okay. And if you observe, for measure, it is like a calculator kind of icon, calculator, right? So all of us, we have used these calculator of icon, you'll have it for measure, and for column, calculated column, only one column in a table will be highlighted. So that is icon for new column or calculated column. Creating your measure and column. Is there any other way? Yes. Just click on the ellipse. For every table under the data pane, you will have ellipse. What is ellipse? Ellipse represent the three dots. Okay? So if you click on ellipse, you'll get again the list of options. So from this list of options, either you can create a measure or you can create a column. Okay, either you can create a measure or column. So let me go with this option. I'll create a measure. See friends, observe what happened. I have clicked on measure. Immediately the formula bar that we had, it opened. This is my formula bar. I can keep my DAX expression in this formula bar. Okay. See, I'm making it big for our understanding. Now, let us start typing our expression, DAX expression. What are we supposed to do? We are supposed to calculate overall profit. Right. Overall profit. So my output should sit in this variable called overall profit. Okay, so overall profit is equals to what function can we use? There is a function called sum. Again, Power BI helps us to, when you type at least one letter of your function, immediately Power BI displays all the functions that are available which starts with that alphabet. See, there are probably 20 to 30 functions which start with S. Okay, so what is the function that we are going to use? We should use sum function, because all the values that are present in this profit column should be aggregated. The moment you select the function, it gives you the syntax of the function. What is the syntax of the function is? So friends, again, one thing, function will always have parenthesis. So these regular braces are called as parenthesis. Okay, so inside the function I have to pass the column name. So on which column we are going to work, which column values should be aggregated, they have to be, that column should be included inside the parenthesis. That's what the syntax is. So what is the column that we have? What is the column that we are supposed to go with? Profit. Profit. Then close the function. Done. Okay, before you continue, one more question. You are working on profit column, right? Yes. And this profit column is present in orders table. Yes. So that is that the reason that you have used table name and the column name? Yes. The syntax is function of column name. Okay. If you have only, say, if you have only one table, you can directly go and use, the column name. That's not an issue. But the best practice is, within the function, always use the table name, then within the table, which column it is, on whatever might be the column, make sure that column has to be represented in square braces. Make sure the column should be present inside square braces. Okay, why? What is the reason for it? The reason is, friends, in real time, you will not work on one single table. You will have multiple tables. Okay, still, even though if I have multiple tables, what is the issue? I'll tell you the exact scenario. If there are two tables, one is orders and there is one more table, something XYZ table, and this particular profit column is present in both the tables. It's present in both the tables. Then what are you going to do? Is the question. Okay, within your DAX query, within your DAX expression, you have to use the columns from both the tables. Okay, but both the tables also have this profit column. Then you cannot achieve your requirement. In the sense, it gets confused. Which profit column you are referring? Are you referring to the profit column that you have in your first table, or the same column in your second table? Okay, so make sure always you use table name followed by the column name within square braces. So this completes our DAX expression. This completes our DAX expression. And if our DAX expression contains any kind of errors or mistakes, it immediately identifies that part and it highlights with some kind of, orange or kind of red color. It underlines that specific part, that there is some issue, there is some error in this particular part. But here I don't observe any kind of issue, so I'll click on enter. I'll click on enter. So what happened? What happened is, it's once after clicking on enter, It creates a measure named as overall profit within the same table. Within the same table, there should be a measure overall profit. Overall profit. Yes. Overall profit. You see? Yes. So overall profit is a measure. For measure what kind of icon we'll have? A calculator. Okay, don't get confused. This is calendar, this is calculator. So calendar represents date related values. Calculator represents measure. It's a calculated measure. Okay, so I'm done. I'm done creating a measure. But what is our final output? What is the overall profit that we have? Can I get the information? Okay. Let me go to table view. What is the use of table view, friends? In table view, we can see the preview of our data in this fashion. Is this the data that I'm actually working on? Yes. This is the data that we are working on. But we have created this measure, right? Overall profit. Where do you see overall profit here? Where do you see overall profit in this table? I don't see any overall profit column. It's not a column, it's a measure. So measure does not store in the table. It does not store in the model. The visual to display any measure is card visual. It's card visual. Okay. How use this card visual is again. I'll make it bit large. Yes. Friends, focus because for the first time we are using visualizations, different visualizations. Card visual. Under the visualizations pane, we have multiple visualizations. Okay, so if you want to use any one of these visualizations, the process is same. Whatever might be the visualization, you are supposed to go and click on it. We are supposed to go and click on that particular visualization. What happened? What happened? Immediately, you see that particular visual gets loaded into our report. We are in the report view and it's a page. Report is nothing but it's a page in which we can have multiple visualizations or a single visualization. So what did I do? I have loaded card visual. What is a card visual? Card visual is a visual which just displays the value that is present inside any measure. You see, it's displaying the number 1, 2, 3. That's it. Anything else it's doing? Nothing. Now I have to bring this, overall profit measure so that I can get the profit value that I have got from these orders. How can I do it? Again, there are multiple ways of loading a measure to the visual. You see the box left to that visual measure, just click on it. Immediately, you'll observe the value, the measure inside the visual. If not, but make sure the card is also selected, friends. See, what is the meaning of selecting or unselecting is selecting means, see, now the card visual was unselected. How we have to select any visual? Go and click on that visual. Then you will get the options for each and every visual. Okay, then you will find all the options for that specific visual. Only then make sure you load the measure. So this is the first way. 292.30K. That's what we have got the same value from Excel as well, right? If not, the second way, directly drag the field and drop it under the fields option. The same. achieving the same output in different ways. Okay, then if not, the third way, drag it and leave it on the visual. I have dragged overall profit measure and I have, kept it over the visual, card visual. So it is saying that 292.3K. Okay, it have rounded off, and we can also edit these values, friends. We can also change these values upon our requirement. We can keep the entire value. If not, we can change it. And the measure name is overall profit. So it just displays the values with the measure name. That's it. And you can adjust it. See, you can adjust that particular visual. Okay. And you see red color lines when you are adjusting. Okay. So this helps us to, you know, align all our visuals in a report. I hope it's clear. Now, the next measure that we are going to create is uh, overall sales. So let me create a measure for overall sales. I want you guys to type the formula in the chat. What will be the formula to create overall sales for this orders table? Make it fast. The same process. I have to click on new measure, or I can go and directly click on this new measure option. It opens the formula bar. Okay, now I have to give a variable in which my measure has to be stored. Overall sales is equals to okay. So since I'm aggregating all the values, I'm going to use sum function. And what is the column that I'm going to use? Sales. Simple. Instead of profit, I have replaced with sales. Okay, and once if it is done, click on enter. The moment we clicked on enter, you see the sales, overall sales measure got created. Again, how can I see the value that is present inside a measure? I cannot go and look out for the value that is present inside a measure in table B because it's a measure, it's not a column. So I load one more card visual, into this report, and I can adjust it. You see, I can adjust using that red color lines, and these red color lines help for aligning. Okay, then the same process. 2.33 m. Good. Any questions with respect to measures? Any questions? How are we going to format these values and all? We'll understand probably in the coming classes. But at least for time being, we have to be clear on, you know, uh, how are these measures created? What is a measure and all, right? Huh. See again, this is pretty big. Yeah. So in this way, can I just right? So Akhil, we have successfully created two measures, right? Yeah. Can we also create a column? Yes. Let's create a column. What column shall we create? Let us create the same column that we have discussed. Okay. So process, same. I'll select the table. Then instead of measure, it should be new column. Why is one dot displayed before all? It's actually representing the formula. That's it. Nothing else. Okay. See, I'm going to create new column. Still now also you'll see the same. That's not an issue. Okay, so it's representing the line number, friend, because here I'm just completing of my DAX expression in one line. But if we probably tomorrow or day after tomorrow, we'll keep our DAX expression in 4 to 5 lines, probably 6 to 7 also. Okay, then the number of lines get increased, right? So this is representing the line number. Ignore, yes. So column, it's again, what is a column that we are going to create? I'm going to create a column for profit loss. So I want to know whether the transaction that we have, is it a profit? Are we achieving any profit or loss? That's what I want to know. That's my interest. Okay. So what function did we use in Excel? If it's a logical function, yes. Even in Power BI also, the same if function will be used. Both of them are Microsoft products, right? So majority of the functions will be same. Okay. And Power BI has more functions compared to Excel. So the moment I clicked on, I have typed I'm getting the list of functions that I have under I. See. Okay. And the first function is if. And the first function is if all these calculated values are displayed in report screen. Yes, only that is the way that we can, get the information present in a measure. Okay, whatever the value that is inside the measure can be visualized only via charts, visuals. Okay, but if you understand the column, okay, now whatever we are going to create, you'll understand it now. How can we get the information of a calculated column? We'll understand. If we have opened the brace and here is you know, the syntax. What does the syntax say? The syntax is logical test. What is the test that we are having here? The test is if the values present in the profit column, it means profit. I am trying to type profit, so it's inside the orders table, orders of profit if it is greater than 0. If it is greater than 0, after clicking on, you see, after typing comma, it is immediately changing it to the next uh, parameter inside the syntax. If this condition, if this test is true, what has to be result? Result if true is what we have to type here. I have to get profit. I have to get profit. Observe, friends. Then what if the condition is false? And Akhil, I see result if true is not in square braces and result if false is in square brace. What is the difference again? The difference is if any of this parameter, okay, if it is inside square braces, it means it's not mandatory. It's optional that we can specify. Okay, so if it is not meeting this logical test, result as in loss. Okay, I'm done. Then I'll close. I'm done with the DAX expression. I'll close the syntax, the formula. So this is my DAX expression and I'll click on enter. Enter. So what will be our calculated column? Profit slash loss. Profit slash loss. You see, I'll make it big. Profit slash loss is a calculated column. You see a column getting highlighted in the entire table. Okay, and f of x represents it's a function. Okay, function was being used, and it also has numeric values. It has numeric values. It's what it is indicating. But how can I get the information of the values that are present inside profit or loss column. Simple. Profit slash loss is a calculated column, means it's a column. So in order to get the information about a column, what we are supposed to do, we are supposed to go and look out for table view. In the table view, you will have the information of the new column that has created. This is a calculated column. But do you get the same information of calculated measure in the table view? Impossible, because calculated measures, they don't, they not get stored inside a table like column. Okay, they get executed when we try to visualize it. That's it. Okay, so 1 minute. Am I? Yes, I thought it off. Let me sort it ascending from the first order. Anything else has been used? Mm, it's taking time, friends. Yes, loaded. Probably it is taking time. Yes, 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 yes. Hmm. Okay, there are some empty values as well. Okay, so some exceeding records are there. We are supposed to remove it. We'll remove it off. No worries. So in this way, what we can understand is, if you want to get, the information of a calculated column, we have to go and look out for table view. And for calculated measure, we can get the information of a calculated measure only via visual. Okay, so we'll talk about more about measures and columns. We'll create more. We'll try to understand more functions in the coming sessions. Probably tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we'll try to work on only DAX. Okay, so what you are going to do is take any of the data which is open source and try to work on DAX expressions. Okay, I'll stay here and it's time for our technical questions. Any questions? So far, whatever we have discussed, I assume that there might be no questions because I'm very slow. The only reason is if we understand the concept of measure and column, tomorrow or probably day after tomorrow, we can increase the pace, right? So that's not the issue. Thank you so much, friends. And moreover, the feedback link has been posted in the chat. And I request all of you to give your valuable feedback, your suggestions, all will be accepted. Okay. And yeah, before you leave, if you feel this session is, informative, it's amazing, just hit on the bell icon and for the updates and all. And moreover, some kind of push that you can give from your side is clicking on the like button. And if you are encountering with any kind of issues, make sure that you also post them in the comment section so that we'll immediately respond to your comments. Okay, all your comments will be errors or issues will be addressed, right? So that's all for the day, friends, and I hope the session is wonderful. We'll meet in the next session. Until then, take care. See you. Bye.